to get your thoughts specifically on that.
Donald Trump did what nobody else could do for half a century. How do you like that? You know why he did it? Because he loves his country. You know why he did it? Because he's humane. He saw people slaughtered and he wanted to put an end to it. That's why he did it. Now it's time that we Americans have to come to grips with something. We have a party in this country, the Democrat Party, that hates the country. Here we are in the middle of a spectacular, humane peace mission where people were being slaughtered. They were being slaughtered right up to the minute we attacked them. We've been talking about it. They've slaughtered our soldiers. They've slaughtered our citizens, our embassy personnel. They come into our country and try and assassinate people. They're the biggest promoters of terrorism, and the Democrats immediately, knee-jerk, they defend the terrorists, like they defend the illegal aliens and the criminals. There's something wrong with that party, that at a time we should be celebrating the most spectacular military act I've ever seen, Khomeini's gone in 20 hours? While their president, Biden, was funding the Iranians billions of dollars, while Obama was paving the way for them to have nuclear weapons, Donald Trump loves this country. He knows right from wrong. And we've had a real psyop going on in this country for 10 years against this man, where they try and pretend he's the authoritarian, he's the dictator. No, they are. They talk about the War Powers Act of 1973. Anybody who is a serious constitutional lawyer knows that act is unconstitutional. I see all these lawyers writing these pieces like they're smart. They're dumb. And every administration, Republican and Democrat, has questioned it. But they haven't brought it to the Supreme Court because neither the Congress or the President wants a resolution. When you have Schumer, who's basically sliding and walking and weaving, all of a sudden he's excited because he can cripple our armed forces in the middle of a war that they're winning. That's what Schumer's doing. Schumer, who supported the Obama nuclear plan, and they would have nuclear weapons today. That's Schumer. Then I see these other people say, Trump hasn't made the case. Trump hasn't made the case. He made the case in 8 minutes. Overwhelming. But why do we need anybody to make the case? Do you have eyes? Do you have ears? Are you an American citizen? Do you know what this regime's been doing? Do you know what it's done to our soldiers? Do you know what it's done to our citizens? Do you know we have people without limbs, without faces, without eyes? As a result of that regime, what do you mean we haven't made the case? Are you really that stupid? And I think they are. But that party hates this country. I love when they wave around the Constitution. They hate the Constitution. They use it to attack it. They believe that illegal aliens are citizens. They believe that terrorists should be given the benefit of the doubt. Listen, if they had their way, Donald Trump would have sent Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth and others to go to Congress and say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to attack them at 3 a.m. We're going to use these kinds of forces. We're going to work with the Israelis. This is what we're going to do. Now tell the other 530 members of Congress what we're going to do. Wow, nobody would leak that. Would they, Bernie Sanders and AOC and Tlaib? Of course not. Let me tell you what the founders of this country believe. Draft for the Constitution to declaring war. They specifically took that out because they don't want the Chuck Schumers of the world making decisions. The only person in Washington, D.C., who's elected by all the people, other than the vice president, is the president of the United States. Chuck Schumer's elected from New York. Bernie Sanders is elected from Vermont. They wanted the commander-in-chief to be elected by the entirety of the nation. And they're even talking about impeaching him if they take the House of Representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an enemy within, and it is the Democrat Party. Every reprobate, miscreant, and malcontent is in that party. The Marxists and the Islamists are in that party. Do they act like they love the nation? Do they? When we have men and women in uniform, Democrats and Republicans and independents, fighting an enemy, fighting terrorists, the greatest terror regime in the world history, and we're winning. And that's why they're going nuts. We're winning. This is so spectacular what's taking place. And I want our troops to know something. These people who are trying to undermine you, they are a small percentage of the population. We red-blooded Americans, we love victory. And we
guys, happy Monday. Just checked to make sure that the audio works, and as you can see, it wasn't working for the first couple seconds, so I'm actually glad I checked it out, because like I said, it's never a dull moment for StreamYard. Anyway, welcome Monday night. Long weekend is gone. The long March break is gone. I had a great March break with my son. Obviously, it's always great when I'm with him, but a full week, it's so much memories, I guess you make. So welcome Monday night live podcast with Freedom Jeff, or in this case, well, yeah, it's Freedom Jeff or Jeff Freedom, because you guys who's been following me know that my Jeff Freedom page on Facebook is completely banned for about 2 months, guys. So when that will be up and running, I will be in Calgary around that time, when I can actually do more lives, and especially using Facebook, because I reach more people when I do lives on Facebook. But the problem is, when you do Facebook lives, you can't do intro videos like that and other videos and pictures. So it is what it is. I will get it out there eventually. But again, follow me on YouTube, guys, because it's just a matter of time before I get one more strike on that Jeff Freedom and it's gone. And then this Freedom Jeff, who knows, right? Because I'm not opening up another Facebook page after that. It's completely done. I will be completely rid of myself. Even on my TikTok, I got a strike today. I did a little 9-minute video on TikTok, and I got, I don't know how many warnings. And then this time, I don't even think they played the video. I think they banned the video because I was talking about Muslims, obviously, right? So yeah, I really don't care for TikTok, to be honest with you. So anyway, let's do the shoutouts. Obviously, I hope you like that intro, because you would be a complete retard. And I do highlight the word retard if you cannot figure out by now of what the Democrat Party is doing, aka what the Liberal Party is doing. So yeah, that guy was it was a great intro about Donald Trump. You couldn't ask for a better intro than that when it comes to explaining stuff with Iran and with Donald Trump. I mean, there's just so much stupidity going on in the earth. And they've been doing it. It's all, it's all the fluoride. It's in the food, you name it. They've been doing this for the past 20 plus years to dumb down the people, and it's working. It's working, as you can see. All right. But for anybody that votes Democrat and actually thinks that the Democrat Party love America, are a complete moron, because as Obama was giving out billions of dollars to Iran, and George Bush was given billions of dollars to Iran, Joe Biden given billions of dollars to Iran, Donald Trump decided to drop a bomb and kill, and send them to, heaven with his 72 virgin goats. So that's exactly where all of those, the regimen of Iran belong, because those people are nuts. I don't care what anyone says, but Iranians are nuts. Iraqians are nuts in the head. There's a couple more I won't get into, but those people are the worst of the worst. Irans and Iraqians, the sand people. All right, I don't care what anybody says. You might have a few that but these people are so radicalized that you don't even understand. They're programmed to hate infidels. Let's just put it that way. And if you're not Muslim, you're an infidel, and you don't even know the stuff that can be carried out. Anyway, let's do the shout outs to our common sensors, our true bloods, our pure bloods, of course, our American family, our Canadian patriots. And again, all the common sensors that follow me for the past 6 years now. I love you guys all. So first, shout outs going out to Miss Carrie from Ontario, Brent from North Carolina, Miss Yolanda, Sylvia from the island, Gilles Bourgeois, Joanna from the United States, I think Pennsylvania, if I'm not mistaken. Sean, brother from different mother from Oshawa. When will you be back on Facebook, Brent? Brent, well, I am on Facebook, Jeff. Freedom Jeff. Freedom Jeff. If you don't know about that, just add me and I'll accept your friend requests. How you doing, Vincent, brother from different mother from Rishabaktu, May, Brenda, Irene, Mac, Juanita, Tadaz, and Nancy. BlackRock froze all their assets. No one can remove all their assets. Yeah, they something like 25 billion. I got that, Irene, to show everybody tonight. But BlackRock's been gone a long time ago, just to let you know. How you doing, Andrea from Penfield? Kathy. Who else? Roland, Camaro, Chevy Girl from Nova Scotia. Jen Grabowski from Ottawa. Kathy McHatton. And God bless Trump, God bless America. Exactly. Judy Horn from Kentucky. What else? What about Afghanistan? Remember, of course, Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabians. Just stand people. I mean, these people are nuts. They always have been nuts. They've been nuts for hundreds and thousands of, if not thousands of years. But history is a lie. So I was hundreds of years completely. These people have been fighting wars, with religion wars, I guess you can call it, right? And that's all conditioned. That's all pre-programmed. That's all, that they made it like that on purpose, just to let you know. And I'm not even going to get into history because history is a lie. And whatever we learned, we don't know what the real truth is, right? How you doing, Anna Genevieve from The Rock, Dan Marsh, Diane, Jeanette, Miss Eagles. Let's see, Bert, Joelle, brother from a different mother. How you doing? Candilace, PJ, I don't know what even that is. Hi, Jeff and Patriots. Sanders and Schumer were selected, not elected. Yeah, exactly. Chris Walker from the United States. Miss Lee's, of course, Giselle Mole from Somerset. Brian Matthews. Miss Elizabeth from all the way out west. Karen. Nancy Lynn. And who else? I think that will be it. 72 trans women. Yeah, exactly. Nancy from St. Mary's. And of course, Mr. Kirk, all the way out west, of course. All right, guys, I think that's it. Okay, so first things first. How you doing, Norm? First things first, I got tons of video. All right, so we're going to be doing a lot of video tonight. And we start off with, the boring Canadian crap. And then we move on to the real stuff, like we always do. So we start off with with sleepers of Canadian politics, because it is. I went to the gym today, and one of the followers, Matthew, I think it was, Matthew, he asked me, he said, Jeff, let me ask you a question. He said, what is going on? Because everyone's scared and talking about this by-election that Carney's holding for April 13th. And I said, what are you scared of? He said, well, if they win it, I mean, he's going to win a majority. I'm like, no, and no. I said, stop hearing people talk, because it's all a bunch of gossip. Listen to what I say. Number one is these seats or by-elections are already liberal, except Terrebonne. There's 3 of them. That was from Chrystia Freeland's when she left her position. And of course, the other retard, Blair, right? So they're already held by liberal parties. And of course, the Terrebonne, that was won by 1 vote. But we all know that Terrebonne's going to go conservative. That's 100%. All right. You don't win. There's no such thing as an election that you win by 1 vote. That's like me winning the Lotto 649 or the Super Bowl. That doesn't happen. All right. Plain and simple. You would have to be a complete retard to actually think that someone won by 1 vote. All right. That crap doesn't happen. So with that being said, it's already liberal, those 2. He's not gaining any more on this by-election. The only thing he could probably gain, actually he can't gain because all 3 were all liberals, is he could lose. So there's no majority for whatever people think or what you've been hearing from the other retards that do fake podcasts and all that. No, this is only replacements of Christie, Freebase Freeland, that's gone, and of course Blair, that's gone. That's it. But they're already liberals, so there's no majority whatsoever. So with that being said, that takes care of that. So I don't know if a lot of people seen this video, but believe it or not, if you live in Manitoba, which would be Ron. Anyway, I don't know if Ron's seen this video of his premiere, but Wab Kinew, which I make fun of all the time, because if there's nothing more funnier is to have someone named Wab Kinew as a premier. I'd be embarrassed. I'm actually embarrassed having a female, woke female, as a premier for us, that her husband was wearing a pride flag on his belt. That was just as sad as having this woke piece of shit. And if you had the history on Susan Holt, then you'll understand why she is as woke can be. Let's just put it that way. And to have someone called Wab Kinew, who's a native that has a criminal record up to like, and don't get me wrong, you know, I have a criminal record from the past. It doesn't make me a bad person, but this guy was assault, drinking, assault, and there's a fraud in there somewhere. Either way, but believe it or not, there's a video. He used to do, he wanted to be a gangster. He wanted to be a gangster. Wab Kinew wanted to be a gangster, and he did a rap video. So I'm going to show you the rap video for the people that didn't know, and our American family that want to get a good laugh of who's premier of a province of Manitoba. Check this out.
I hold on to my joy, no you cannot detach me. Never stop running, on my demons might catch me. Nothing in this world down below or up above that I cannot overcome with some prayer and your love, so I pray.
And if I die tomorrow, I'll be alright.
In case I never say goodbye, cause you know how this life is.
Knowing
if I never blow up, then at least I was the nicest. I am my own man, whether mainstream or a native, so I could walk up in a sweater in the legislative and get the people tripping out whenever that I say. Original, creative, successful, I made it, but can't stay planted. Quoted, not a quote, I pass up anybody's standards. I like to get the cash, but the cash I've never pandered. Asking why I'm rapping, you really want the answer? My mind is full of cancer, the relief is in the stanza. Advance the cause for all the people that'll never have the chance to pause. Take a second for deceased, now I'm back up on the beat.
Yeah, that's pretty pathetic. That's just as pathetic as Justin Trudeau's son's videos trying to be a gangster. But I mean, I wonder where our taxpayer money, because I can guarantee that was funded by the taxpayers ourselves, because we all know where the natives get all their money, obviously. So you can thank yourselves and pat yourselves on the back in Manitoba of where your tax paying money maybe they got some of that money, that $12 million to find those Indigenous kids, right? Just to let you know, it's definitely, that's probably where it went. So yeah, I thought that was pretty damn funny. If you ask me, when I got that video, I started laughing. But that doesn't surprise me. A wannabe gangster. I mean, I could go on and on talking about natives, but I don't even want to get there, because it's just stupid. All right, speaking of stupid, check this out, because obviously Canada, we're getting a lot of engineers and doctors right from Pakistan, because a lot of the videos I'm going to show you tonight is going to show you how disgusting immigrants are being sent here, and how Muslim immigrants are never going to blend in with Christian values. It's never going to happen. The Muslim people are monsters. It's in the Quran, just to let you know, that to trick and to deceive the infidels. So if you think the Muslims are happy-go-lucky people and that they're nice to you and you know them and they're nice, that's not it. Because if you look in the Quran, there's a section in there that it actually says to deceive the infidels and to trick the infidels to think they're nice people. And now, don't get me wrong, I don't read the Quran, but I remember sharing it. So for the people that just started watching me, you'll understand there is a section in there with deceive the infidels. All right, but check this. This must be definitely a doctor or an engineer, but this was in Brampton. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but check this out. This goes to show you the mentality of these people. Yeah, definitely a doctor. Yeah, I mean, I'm taking a poll to see if you guys think that was a doctor or an engineer. I'll leave it up to you, but I pretty much have a good guess of what he really is. Andrea says, just curious, Jeff, have people ever confronted you about what we all believe and know? Yeah, of course. I get people on the street that say, "Oh, you're that guy that talks about, stuff." I guess immigrants or stuff. I never really had any hate because I mean, if I had someone come up to me on the street or whatever, shout out my name or you suck or anything, I would say you sound vaccinated. And to be honest with you, that usually shuts them up. If you ever get insulted by people that are liberal, you usually throw up as long as I'm not vaccinated like you are. That usually shuts them up. Period. It really does. It's an easy win. I'm going to give you guys that little tip. It's an easy win to shut people up that are trying to insult you, right? Just say, at least I wasn't stupid enough to take a vaccine, right? And that usually sets it off right there. And I love watching their face. It's priceless. So anyway, we got rid of that guy. So definitely he was on break, probably from the hospital. We'll just, we'll leave it to that. So as I get into more immigrants and how disgusting they really are, all right, let's go with this. This happened in Canada, by the way, just to let you know. And if I'm not mistaken, this was in Alberta or BC. I didn't write it down and I should have. But I want you to take a look at this because this is exactly what I've been telling people, especially with the new immigrants and the kids that are coming in, how I said the crime rate's going to go up. Because I don't care what anybody says. Anybody says. Most immigrant kids, and a majority of them, not 100%, but 90% of them, when they get together as immigrants, they do little gangs. You understand? And a lot of shit happen when they're into a group. All right. This is when the real chimping out comes, and it doesn't matter if you're Pakistan, Iranian, Iraqi, African. They're all the same because most of the fights that happen in the high schools, especially New Brunswick, are when the immigrant kids get together and they try to pick fights or they fight with Canadian kids. And I wish that shit would have happened when I would have been in high school because I probably wouldn't have passed school in the first place and graduated, but I would have kicked a lot of shit out of a lot of immigrant kids. But check this out and what they did to this old man. Yeah, as you can see with the chimp that was chimping out there, that wasn't Canadian, of course, with the speech impediment. And if you can see, that was either Pakistan or Iranian or Iraqi kids that pushed the old man down. The one that he grabbed, I don't know what kind of race that was, to be honest with you, probably a mud shark. Either way, it's not called being a racist, it's called being a realist. And Canadian kids, natural Canadian kids, don't act like that, obviously. And to most Canadian kids, not wannabe thugs that were brought up in the hoods, obviously, wouldn't have pushed an old man down. They would have probably stopped him by holding him, grabbing his arm. Either way, they would never pushed an old man down, because if he would have smashed his head and something would have happened to him, well, then it's premeditated murder, manslaughter. But these kids don't care. You understand? This is what I'm talking about. They just don't care. And it's getting worse. This is on a daily basis throughout Canada, not just a one time. This is daily base. All right. That happens. All right. And this is the shit that they're bringing into Canada on a daily basis. Check out this river in India, guys.
I'll show you the beautiful river. Well, I mean, you can't really tell there's water under there. Somewhere under all that rubbish is water.
Yeah, exactly. This is by how can you say that? This is all orchestrated. This is all by design. There is no politician out there that don't know that the Indian people are the most unsanitized race in the entire world. You understand? We're not stupid. There's videos, there's tons of videos around with what India looks like in Bangladesh and all that. There is no way in hell that you can bring these people. I watched videos in London, when there was one in London, where these immigrants, Indians, got out of their car. No, this is not, I don't even know why I never try to save it. They got out of their car in the middle of the street. They came on the bridge, and a guy was filming, and they came on the bridge, and they're throwing their garbage into the river, and then got back in their car and left. And the guy was like, what the hell just happened there? Right? And again, you know what I mean? This is what they do. And they're doing it in Ontario. They're doing it in Ontario by doing these, I don't know what the hell they call them with their Buddhists, and they float it in the water, and it's made out of plastic. And I don't know. I seen a bunch of stuff on it last year, and it's just disgusting. And why can't this shit happen around me? I don't know. I wish it would. And if you people do not think that that these people are going to, let's just put it this way, if you think these people are going to integrate with Canadian values, it's never going to happen. All right, it's never going to happen. And I'm going to play a clip here by Mario. I played something like it about a month or 2 months ago, when I asked people, when I go to small towns in northern New Brunswick or in Nova Scotia, and I see Africans in secluded areas, or Pakis and secluded areas, when you can see the majority of the workers at a ski resort, or at a Dixie in northern New Brunswick, and the shoppers, Africans in Campbellton and all this, and you can see a good majority of the workers are immigrants, then you know there is a good potential that we are not being immigrated, we're being invaded, and we're doing it on purpose. But I know how I wouldn't say I knew the number. I just knew it was more than what the government was saying. Check out exactly in the past 11 years how many immigrants that the Liberal parties, aka voters, they brought in, just to let you know, because that's what they are. If people are wondering why the Liberal voters, the Liberal party is bringing in all these immigrants, making diversity as our strength, that was just a precondition to make everybody feel we had no other choice. All right, that those were actual potential voters. All right, because that's what they do. They tell the immigrants when they come in, by the way, the immigrant lawyers, by the way, it's the Liberal party that brought you guys in, and the Conservative party wants to deport you. So as long as you vote Liberal, you guys will always stay, and we'll give you subsidies and programs and all this crap. This is what's said to them, because I know, because I had an African living in my apartment once, and I asked them straight out, right? Straight out, just asked them. And yeah, that's basically what is told. So if you bring in 10 million potential voters, aka immigrants, you're never going to lose. That party will never lose, because when you do the voting system of 40 million people, all right, the Conservatives just lost the last election by, what was it, 400,000? All right, 400,000 votes. Okay. So what they're doing, like I said, it's all by design, as they're bringing in and they're putting all these immigrants, particular in areas that vote Conservative, and they do it. And it's a smart plan. It's Liberal Party are not that stupid like they ought to be. Most of them are, but this is very simple math. Oh, okay, let's pick a place in Edmonton. All right, it's all Conservatives. They won last time by 10,000. Okay, we're going to put 11,000 immigrants in that area, and we're going to subsidize those businesses to hire them, aka Burger King, McDonald's, Tim Hortons. Okay, and that's what they do everywhere. All right, this is all pre-programmed, waiting for the next federal election, and that's what they've been doing all around the world. Okay, that's how they're doing this, is bringing them in and giving them all these subsidies, but making sure that they vote Liberal. But the joke's on them, because most of the immigrants don't even go to the polling station, just to be honest with you, because to them, it doesn't involve money. Most of them are too lazy to do it, and most of them just don't care because they're in already. You understand? So they didn't know that. But that's don't get me wrong, I didn't say 100% of them, but I'm going to say a good 50% of them will definitely not get off their ass unless there's money or something waiting for them. All right, check this out. This is going to make you guys angry about another Muslim person, but these people are insane, insane to do this. To do this, and if you guys love kids, I recommend you not watch this, especially babies. I know some of you seen this video, but the people that didn't, I'm just warning you in advance. This is going to boil your blood.
Wesh. Ouais! Mais ça va pas? Allez-vous-en, allez-vous-en, allez-vous-en.
Puta mal parida. La próxima la van a cara.
Mais il est malade.
Yeah, that was in France. And she was speaking French and said, "Why did you do that for? You are sick in the head." And to me, the person that was filming was definitely African, 100%. I can tell by the accent. I can tell by everything. And that man was definitely Moroccan, or because I think most Moroccans are French, just to let you know. But that was a Muslim, all right, 100% Muslim. So with that being said, I mean, these people are mentally insane to do that to a stranger, this kid. Well, if that shit ever happened to me, no matter if it was in London, because they take the immigrant side, I'd be going to jail for manslaughter, because that man's face would be so beaten up. His parents wouldn't even recognize him. Let's just put it that way. It would be a very bad day for him. And if anyone tried to stop me, especially if they were immigrant, it'd be a very bad day for them too. All right. Because that is insane to do that to another person's kid. Here's another one. This happened actually in Canada, just to let you know. I'm trying to remember if this was in Ontario or in Alberta, but check this out. And this lady, she stood her ground. God bless her.
Fuck off. They did $8,000. No, you're a fucking immigrant. I'm serious. Yeah, you're an immigrant that reaches off the white slavery.
This idiot, just ignore her.
White
Fucking
slavery,
racist.
baby.
Fuck off, racist.
White slavery.
Get the fuck out of here.
Why don't you get the fuck out of here?
Shut up. This is not your fucking country, you dummy.
No, I'm a
It's
Canadian.
genuine.
I was born here.
You know that.
See, this is not your country. It's the Indians. I hate that terminology when these piece of shit immigrants, Iraqis, Iranians, those people, I think they're more Iraqis, when they say it's not your country. That's the terminology that would make my blood boil even more, to run up and give him a drop kick in his face, to say, no, this is not natives' country. If this was the natives' country, we all still be wearing beaver fur for clothing. We'd still be living in teepees, all right, and sleeping with our cousins and sisters, and attacking each other about which moose we're going to kill, all right, for the meal. No, no, and no. This was never the natives, never has been the natives. And the natives were very lucky for us as Europeans to come and settle on this land and show them the way of life on how to turn this land into a living country. You understand? Because I'm going to tell you something, and I don't care if it hurts people's feelings, but there is no native engineers. There's no native scientists. There's no native doctors. You understand? There really isn't. It's not in their capacity. Yeah, you might get the odd one that, out of 1,000, you might get one that actually makes it out of the reserve and does something good with their life. But the majority, I would say 95% of them, are not insane. They're not there in the brain. So they're not, if you really want to see them, get them off the reserve, get them into the real world. We'll see how long they last. All right. But it's never going to happen. They're not stuck on the reserve. All right. They're literally not stuck on the reserve. They stay on the reserve because they get subsidies. All right. They get their free housing. They get their free taxes, blah, 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 blah. But to say that this is not your land, it's the Indians, I would lose my shit. All right. And we're not talking about debating shit, because I would set the tone. Anyway, and that's in Canada, just to let you know. That's not in Russia. That's not here. That's not there. And this is a clip from Mario, just to let you know of how many actual immigrants that they let in for the last 10 years.
Probably the craziest video I've made in 2025. I'm going to blow your mind. Watch this. It all started with one message from this guy here, Immigration Stats. He created this website, immigrationstatistics.ca. It's going to get better. Give me a second. As you all know, Pierre Poilievre called on the Liberals to completely axe the temporary foreign worker program. It wasn't just him, it's also the Premier of British Columbia who said the temporary foreign worker program should be reformed significantly or cancelled altogether. There is a consensus on this now. And this is the part that will blow your mind. Liberals promised a cap on 82,000 temporary foreign workers in 2025, but it's already issued 105,000 permits. This guy here just showed me that the numbers are staggering. The numbers are so insane that the temporary foreign worker program is actually just a tiny fraction of all the work permits and foreigners coming into our country. The bigger program is called the IMP. Before his website, I had no idea it even existed. That's what it looks like. IMP is the same thing as the temporary foreign worker program. It's the International Mobility Program, and it allows you to hire a temporary worker without a LMIA. In most cases, you submit an offer of employment through the employer portal. Don't take it from me, this is from the Government of Canada. Since the Liberals have been elected since 2015, they've let in over 10 million people into our country, foreigners, and they don't track who goes, who stays. What you'll find, and mark my words, is when we finally do a census, because the last one was in 2021, you're going to see all of these numbers completely and radically change thanks to this program. Look at the growth that we have since 2015. All these numbers, they're from the IRCC, from the Government of Canada's own database. There's a reason why our healthcare has gotten so much worse and we cannot keep up with it. There's a reason.
So yeah, that still ended in a minute, guys, but I think you get the point. 10 million, and like Mario was about to say, there's a reason why our education, there's a reason why our healthcare, there's a reason why our welfare system, there's a reason why our infrastructure is jammed up. There's a reason why this is all being done by design. All right. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out, right? All right. Is there anything else on Canada that I don't have to board you guys with? Is there any shout outs? Oh yeah, check this out. This should make you guys angry too. For the first time in Canadian history, there is no parliamentary budget officer, zero oversight. Let that sink in, guys. Just to let you know, the first time in Canadian history, we don't have an accountant. Can you imagine that? A budgetary officer. We don't have one now. Mark Carney fired him. Didn't renew his contract. First time in history. I wonder why. Because now there's nobody to oversee what's happening in Canada with the spending. All right. Again, if you know a Liberal voter, if it's a family, if it's a co-worker, if it's your child, if it's your mother and father, you need to start shaming and blaming these people if they're still would vote for Liberal. Enough about being silent. That's got to go. That's got to go. At the end of the day, I'm sorry, but that has to stop. All right. I mean, because obviously we all know this, right? Look at the Sherman's case. Very interesting. They had evidence against Trudeau as to why he couldn't run for prime minister. Yeah. So this is the girl that he was with. She was only 12 or 13 years old, and their relationship resulted in a criminal charge against Justin. His, his father, of course, his real father was Castro, but his biological father was Castro, but his his sort of father, I guess you could call it, I don't even know what the hell you would call it these days, had the best lawyers to have the family sign a non-disclosure of a settlement of $2.5 million. But I mean, a lot of people don't know this, all right? But if you were in the underworld the way I was back in the past, you would know that Justin Trudeau used to be a bouncer. Justin Trudeau got charged for hanging out with the bikers. And a bouncer at a club. Can you imagine that piece of shit as a bouncer? What a joke. And something had happened at three of them, that someone was murdered, and he was part of it. And he actually spent time in jail. And the whole thing with the Sherman murders, if you don't know the Shermans, they were a couple that were owned in, I'm trying to remember, of hydroxychloroquine pharmaceutical in Ontario, and they were found murdered in their house, and no one could understand why. And I remember did a few lives on this way back in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, talking about who was involved. And obviously Justin Trudeau's name was always involved in that murder because of things that they had. Now, hydroxychloroquine obviously was a pharmaceutical which cured a lot of people. Justin Trudeau had stock and owned part of this mRNA company in BC. So, I mean, at the end of the day, maybe they had some, shit on him, which I don't believe because that has nothing to do. But I know that Justin Trudeau had something to do in that mix up with them being murdered because of what they were trying to sell, hydroxychloroquine. Obviously, that was going to be coming up for the further use to cure the people of this fake pandemic that people were having, COVID. Anyway, there was a lot of rumors going around, but at the end of the day, no one still has solved that case. So it goes to show you that the police are pieces of shit, and they really are. And speaking of engineers and doctors, check this out, guys. 3 arrested for something like 500 grams of opium, multiple firearms seized, as you can see in the picture. And of course, it's, our doctors and engineers, Kushdeep Kaur, Balpreet Kaur, and the third one I can't see, but it's another one of the flip-flop crew. All right. These people, there is nothing good about these people in Canada. There's nothing good about these people, period. All right. There is nothing. Even them serving coffee, it's a huge mess up. And I can't believe I didn't save this. It's on my phone and I didn't get it. But anyway, the other day, someone in Ontario did a health complaint because they got a cup of coffee and on the lid had coffee on the lid and around the cup. So when they asked for the manager, the Packy said there's no manager on site. So anyway, they said, well, I want someone. So they brought the cup back the next day for a manager. They didn't even drink anything of it. And he showed the manager that the cup was dirty. And then apparently when the manager found out, they said that one of the workers used a cup that was already used of someone drinking, and they used the cup. Anyway, this is the kind of health risks that when we're going to takeouts, restaurants, guys, I mean, in Nova Scotia, just to let you know, for the people who live in Nova Scotia, there's a place called The Cut. It's the most expensive steak place in all of Nova Scotia. And if you don't believe me, check it out. It's called The Cut down by 4 Points and the Marriott and all that. It's called The Cut. I'm sure you guys can hear. Anyway, I looked inside the kitchen and it was all Pakis, all Indians as a cook. You think I'm going to pay $200 for a steak knowing that it's Pakis cooking my food? I don't think so. I don't think so. You couldn't even pay me $200 to eat that shit, just to let you know. Because every time I walk in a restaurant, I go and I look to see the people working in the kitchen. And if all of them are Pakistan, I'm walking out. I don't even care how hungry I am. I'll find a place that doesn't have them, because there's no way that I am going to eat the shit that they put their hands on. All right. Because these people are well known to go take a dump, have a piss, don't clean their hands, and they come and play with food. And that's just a well-known fact. No one can tell me anything different. So speaking of the Liberal Party, check this out. So this is being in Alberta right now. So apparently their Canadian Natural pauses an $8.25 billion oil sands expansion, citing the carbon policy uncertainty. That's right. So there is a project with the oil sands in Alberta that the Liberal Party are now putting a hold on because of the carbon policy, aka what they want to do with the carbon. All right. They want to capture the carbon, put it in the ground 2 kilometers under, even though we all know that our plants need carbon. Carbon doesn't increase climate change. There's actually there's tons of scientists now literally saying, no, we need carbon. Without carbon, the climate will change. But carbon carnage is still going with that philosophy. And one thing that the guy at the gym that follows me, Mathieu, was asking me, he said, Jeff, it seems like they're doing the movie that's being played out right now is the same movie that was played out in the United States for 4 years with Biden. And I said, exactly. I said, this is exactly what I told everybody when Carney won. I said, Trump made it to show the Canadian people. Remember, because Trump came back last December, not the December to pass, the prior December, and said that called Trudeau the governor and Canada 51st state. Now, it's not because he was drinking, because Trump has never drank before in his life, which, believe it or not, just to let you know, Trump has never ever drank anything of alcohol in his life. And now there's photos going around with Donald Trump sitting with little kids and little girls and stuff like that. And if you can't tell, that is not photo or more. There's two people on my Facebook friends that, and I can't do anything because I'm blocked. You guys gotta stop paying attention to Mr. Freedom. All right, because he's just asking for clickbait now. It's plain and simple. It's just from now on, it's just clickbait. He does about 10 to 12 posts a day, and every time you guys click or comment on something, he makes money. He makes money with that. Okay, just to let you know. So please stop commenting on Mr. Freedom's page because he likes it, because he doesn't work in the winter. He's a roofer, and this is what he's doing. He's clickbaiting. All right. So with that being said, I mean, when I seen these photos, I'm like, you can tell they're Photoshop and AI generated. It's just, there's so much turds out there that actually believe that Donald Trump is a pedophile. And the guy is the only one, all right? The only one that reported Jeffrey Epstein. And it's just getting to the point I want to crush people's heads from now on. All right. So now that we get rid of the boring stuff of Canada, Donald Trump sent this out the other day, and to me, I'm just going to comment on it just for a second. So short-term oil prices, which will drop rapidly when the destruction of the Iran nuclear threat is over. It's a very small price to pay for the United States and world safety and peace. Only fools would think differently. And this is exactly. All right. So what I believe what's happening with Donald Trump in Iran, even though Iran's been chanting death to America since 1979, okay, is a few things. All right. The biggest threat to America and to the world is China, right? We all know this, right? So this is all by strategy. Now follow me here, okay? So this is all done by strategy. So China doesn't have oil. So China gets their oil from either Venezuela, Russia, or Iran, all right? So what does Trump do? First strategy, okay, takes over the Gulf of Mexico, calls it the Gulf of America. Then he takes over Panama, because now he's got the Panama Canal where no Chinese ships or oil tankers can pass through, right? Then he takes over Venezuela because those people are hurting and their government were literally taking their oil and not giving it to the people. Like it was a complete shit show in Venezuela. If you don't know, I've been down there. I know how it is. For the people that don't know, just trust me when I say it was a shit show. So the government was ripping them off, sending the oil to Cuba, and then the Cubans were getting Chinese oil ships to take it from Cuba and ship it all the way down to China. So Iran, same thing. China gets their oil. So Trump is literally crippling the Chinese by taking all these places where they get their oil. You understand? So with that being said, it's going to be a guarantee that now China, who has a deep state, just like the United States, has a deep state also, are definitely going to get their heads chopped off within 6 months when they can't. Their economy is going to go to shit because they're going to have no oil. So Trump is literally taking them from their feet, like slicing their feet off. Then they won't be able to move. That's a perfect strategy. On top of that, of freeing the Iranian people from the disgusting piece of shit that they had there for 39 years, I think it was. Either way, it's all being strategy. It's all strategy. And of course, he's not going to let everyone know of what the strategy is. But I'm thinking outside the box, going, okay, all right, China gets their oil. And now this is what Carnage Carney is trying to do. Now, follow me here. Now, Carnage Carney, believe it or not, we have Chinese soldiers protecting oil fields in Canada. So I'm going to ask you guys, since I like, a little bit of a crowd interaction. All right. What's this? Nick, who cares about those people? I mean, who cares about Jeremy McKenzie? Jeremy McKenzie should be on medication, to be honest with you. Anybody who follows, or if anybody follows Jeremy McKenzie is just as nuts as a liberal. So this is what's going to happen to Canada and Carney now. So Trump's already said no Chinese will ever step foot in North American soil. Remember, if you guys don't know that, I'm letting you know now. All right. So what's going to happen is after this whole Iran shit, that's already kind of done, to be honest with you, because it already is done. If people think this is going to drag on for 4 or 5 weeks, you're complete morons. It's not. It's already done. All right. Now it's just the cleanup. So next is Canada, just to let you know for Trump. Next is Canada, because what's going to happen is Trump is going to let Carney try to make deals with China to try to get oil to China, because that's never going to happen, just to let you know. That's why Carney is keeping all the oil. All right. He's keeping all Canada's oil because he's going to want to sell it to China. All right. And if you don't believe me, check this out. So New Brunswick sits on top of 77.9 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. Despite this, the Port of St. John is now importing a big LNG shipment from Australia. That's right, guys, because Carney really cares about the climate. That's why they're importing LNG gas all the way from Australia to go all the way to St. John, New Brunswick, when New Brunswick is sitting on all those trillion cubic feet of natural gas here in New Brunswick. Let's not talk about Alberta, right? So what's going on? I mean, it's just sickening. It really is sickening. At the end of the day, this is just sickening, and it's just common sense questions now. Make it make sense, because it's not making any sense. And if you can't figure it out by now, I mean, high school is not for you. Debbie says, hi, everyone. Not able to make comments until now. She's nuts. Trump said it was over in 3 days. Kathy, yeah, of course. Yeah, and he's going to expose Carney. So good that you guys are... So with that being said, okay, and they make taxpayers pay for your heat pumps. Yeah. So what's going to happen is I don't mind paying a little bit for the gas now. I really don't, because they're gonna turn it into this, the oil companies, even though it's not going to be like that. I don't mind it turning into that now, because I know in the future, as in 6 months, less than 6 months, that the gas prices are going to go even below $1. All right. I know this for a fact. Yes, we're going to feel the pinch at the pumps now, $1.50, $1.60, $1.70 at the most. In Vancouver, believe it or not, in British Columbia, it's like over $2. We're going to feel it now. But I can promise you, when Trump is done this Iran and he comes after Canada, it's guaranteed. It's a guarantee that oil price is going to go below $1. It's going to go back to what the 80s used to be, just to let you know. And that's always been the plan. But now it's just exposing the WEF. It's just exposing the amount of corruption in the Liberal Party, just to let you know. Okay. I think that will be it. I've got a lot of things to share, guys, but I think I'm going to play this 2-minute and 18-second video. I can't remember what it is. Oh, actually, I do now, but I'm just going to show you when Mr. Freedom and those retards like Jeremy McKenzie, who needs a good throat punch, he's still trying to, he's still trying to get a praise for being a Canadian soldier, which I personally would be embarrassed to call myself a Canadian soldier, to be a Canadian pin cushion, because we don't need soldiers. We never needed soldiers. We don't need the army. We never needed army. Actually, I believe the army is the Canadian army is the biggest poofs out there. To be honest with you, they're not men. These are little boys playing little war games in a war that doesn't exist. And they're people that don't want to work. So they go and play these little war games because they're too chicken shit to get into society. So you guys can send that bit to Jeremy McKenzie, because that's completely the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But the guy still wants to claim that he fought in the Afghanistan war. All right, that was never a war. That was just killing innocent people. Thanks to George Bush and Senior, to be honest with you, and Clinton after that. That those guys they've always been wimps. And the Canadian Army is just a piece of dirt bags that the pharmaceuticals are using as pin cushions. All right. I'm not talking about our grandfathers, because obviously our grandfathers that fought in World War I, World War II, which they didn't need to fight, but because they didn't have social media to tell them what the hell was going on and why they were doing it, because of the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, if there was no reserve bank into that country, all those other countries were going to fight that country to make sure the Rothschilds would get their banking system into that country. But there was no Facebook back then. There was no Twitter back then to tell these guys that. All right. AKA, that was the biggest thing that they ever invented that they wish they didn't invent it, was social media, because people like myself and of course Derek Johnson and of course others that are getting the word out there of what's really happening and with the government and the politics, and that's why they're trying to censor everybody. It's not going to work, and they're going to try, but it's just exposing the Liberal Party for the douchebags they really are. So anyway, take this. This is going to show you a 2-minute and 18-second video of how Hillary Clinton was supposed to win, and Trump came in by accident. They messed up. The oligarchs, they messed up. And this is why, this is another example among 1,000 more examples why Trump is not part of the clique.
The problem is that the UN agenda is the same with Davos agenda. Mm-hmm. For this reason, this the world oligarchic system, they have the power on Europe because they control all the people like Bundeskanzler or president or prime minister or whatever there are. So for this reason, sorry to interrupt you, the situation with Donald Trump was a big shock.
They didn't expect that to happen. That was an accident, I suppose.
Absolutely an accident.
Not part of their game plan.
It was the first time of the oligarchy system was what happened, an accident. Mm-hmm. Because normally it have to be Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Not Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And the process which we are dealing now with this pandemic and all these liars was supposed to be in 2016. To be in 2020 to be a disaster regarding food and water.
Ah, I see.
Which normally they want to arrive in 2025 now.
I see.
So the plan was a little bit changed. And for this reason, of course they will not succeed. This is clear. I mean, the system is almost down. Of course, there are the last moments, and we have to have the courage now, all of us, to say no. In a sense that UN could be a fantastic, can have the fantastic role, but is not, because it's totally under control of the oligarchs. Mm-hmm. The problem is that these oligarchs, all of them, are related with the system of the pedophilia one, because we know that there are more than 8 million children per year which they disappear. 8 million does mean the entire population of Austria. Mm-hmm. They disappear without any information, simply like that.
So as you heard him, he literally said Trump fudged up their plans. They messed up, and now it's too late. So with that being said, guys, thank you for another hour. I hope you guys learned something. Maybe I said too much retards and offended people, which I really don't care, because if I offended anybody, you shouldn't be watching me in the first place, because obviously I have no filter. Got 3 personalities: Jeff Freedom, or in this case, Freedom Jeff, Don Cherry, and of course the big guy back there. And we all know Archie Bunker back in the 70s. He never had filters. And that's the 3 personalities that I have when I do these podcasts. Anyway, I hope you guys loved it. And we'll see you guys back this Thursday for another podcast of stuff that I was going to share tonight. But we don't have enough time, and I only do this for an hour, guys. Anyway, take care. I love you all. And like Don Cherry says, you people hold that line, and things will get better. Trust me.
Miss out.
Adios.
Bringing you the real truth, exposed. The Canadian Don is digging deeper, asking what others won't, and broadcasting it uncensored. For real. Join the conversation live with facts you can see and voices you can trust. Subscribe today.